FAMU, the Rattlers are leaving the Orange Blossom Classic in 2024. So, what does this mean for the future of the game that's based around FAMU? Let's talk about it, man. This kind of surprised me after the bumper. Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload all the time. Now, we're going to take a look at our friends over at HBCUsports.com's article talking about FAMU after their athletic director, Miss Tiffany Sykes, let the world know that they will no longer participate in the Orange Blossom Classic starting in 2024. Let's take a look at this article written by Brandon King. Shout out to Brandon King. It says FAMU will forego future Orange Blossom Classic games, says athletic director. It goes on to say throughout its initial 44-year run from 1933 to 1978, the Orange Blossom Classic cemented itself as one of the preeminent postseason HBCU classics. Revived in 2021, the OBC is now one of the crown jewels of the early portion of HBCU football season, with FAMU and Jackson State now part of the series. The Tigers and Rattlers will once again face off in 2023 iteration of the game. However, in 2024, the Orange Blossom Classic will feature a different matchup as FAMU will not participate. What? FAMU Athletic Director Tiffany Don Sykes announced the school declined an invitation to the Orange Blossom Classic. Quote, FAMU has declined an invitation for the 2024 Orange Blossom Classic. We sincerely appreciate the efforts of Miami Gardens and all the partners involved in perpetuating a unique cultural experience that not only helps not only the schools involved, but the youth in the area with valuable scholarships, she said. Quote, along with the game, bringing back the custom of the marching 100 stepping down the streets of Dade County is part of FAMU's athletic history and is steeped in FAMU tradition. While we do respect that, we have a responsibility to our season ticket holders, investing in Champions members and local partners to bring a minimum of 5 to 6 home games to Tallahassee annually. This is the final year of the current contract of the OBC, which included matchups with Jackson State in 21, 22, and 23. FAMU reportedly turned down a 3-year deal that would offer payouts of $450,000 in 2024, $500,000 in 2025, and $525,000 in 2026. This is reportedly. It goes on to say, according to the blog, Rattler Nation, during a recent virtual meeting with FAMU National Alumni Association members, Don Sykes said she had not seen $400,000 or $450,000 from the Orange Blossom Classic. Rattler Nation reported that it obtained a copy of an email sent by OBC officials to Don Sykes regarding a renewal contract that FAMU was offered $1.74 million guaranteed payout over the next 3 years. If FAMU does not participate in the OBC in 2024, which it doesn't sound like they will, it will be the first time in the history of the game that the Rattlers didn't play in it. So there's a couple of things at play here. Obviously, when the OBC was revived, Tiffany Don Sykes wasn't the athletic director of FAMU. It was Courtney Gosha. He was a really good athletic director. He's the one that orchestrated the LeBron James deal. He is the one that helped revive the Orange Blossom Classic. He did a lot of great things at FAMU when he was the AD. But we remember, well, if you don't remember, I remember vividly because it was right when I was starting to get into this thing, Gosha and the fallout after the whole HBCU League Pass Plus, or now it's just HBCU Plus fallout. FAMU and Grambling had signed to HBCU Plus. The SWAC didn't like that. They had a falling out. Grambling stuck with them. Grambling pushed back, HBCU Plus pushed back, and Grambling, they said, to hell with y'all, we going to rock with President Gallitt. Those guys rocked with it. They was like, yo, we're doing what we want to do. It looked like I had a bigger falling out for FAMU. Now, there's other people that know way more about that than me, but I just remember that specifically. And it seemed like right after all of that stuff went down, that's when Gosha was fired. He was kind of like let go after the whole fallout with HBCU Plus, the SWAC, and everything else. And so when Tiffany Sykes, Miss Tiffany Don Sykes, comes in, she said what she said. We have a responsibility, at least in her mind, and maybe not in the previous regime's mind, but in her mind as the new AD, and she gets to call the shots, that they need to bring more home games to Tallahassee. And if that includes nixing the Orange Blossom Classic, she's willing to do that. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of there's literally a classic built after you. Like, this classic is built around FAMU. What is the Orange Blossom Classic without FAMU? I mean, I don't know. We're talking about something that has been played almost 50 times. In all 47 matchups, FAMU has been in every single one. And now you're telling me you're going to have something called the Orange Blossom Classic without the team that plays in orange? like, this isn't like I understand that. What's the classic in Memphis called? The Southern Heritage Classic. It's just called the Southern Heritage Classic. So as long as you have two Southern teams, you can play in it. There's other classics, the HBCU New York Classic. As long as you just HBCU teams, you can play it. Orange Blossom is pretty specific. It's in Florida. It's in Miami Gardens. And it features FAMU. It literally is baked. It's ingratiated into the history of FAMU. Now, it was gone since 78 until 2021. So it's not like something that if people lose the OBC or it goes away again, it's not going to be heartbreaking. And not like it was back in, I assume, in 78. But at the same time, it's tough to believe that this can continue on without FAMU. What's even crazier is the fact that if FAMU loses this game, they lose this game in 2023, the return of the Orange Blossom Classic, they went 0-3. That will be wild. But it also sounds like there's some business components in there that ain't all the way together. Miss Sykes is saying, Athletic Director Sykes is saying that they haven't received the money that these reports are saying that they've received. Athletic Director Sykes is saying they aren't getting those checks, at least is what the reports are saying, that is being reported. So that is also contradictory. That's also kind of shaky. That's all, because turning down a payout of $500,000 is rough. That's tough. Now, if you say, well, we're turning down that payout of $500,000 because we can have a home game that makes us $1 million. Okay, I get that. That makes sense. But also, I feel like this was something that should have been properly planned better, right? This is something, now it makes sense to do it because you fulfill your contract. You're not breaking contractual agreements, and you're letting the world know now. Now, I get exactly why she's doing it now. Yo, just let y'all know, this is the last year that FAMU's playing in the OBC, right? We're at the end of our contract. We're not renewing. And I'm letting you guys know that in advance. So that way, when the 2024 version of the OBC is there, and Jackson State and FAMU aren't in it, because I'm pretty sure Jackson State's already said they're not playing in it starting next year. When we have two completely different teams, don't be surprised. Like, don't be surprised. So I get exactly why she's letting the world know now. It is going to be interesting to see how the Orange Blossom Classic survives without FAMU, how the Orange Blossom Classic survives without Jackson State, how the OBC, the revived OBC that's only been back, this will be only the third year that it's back after a 50-year hiatus or 40-year hiatus or whatever, how that is going to be able to thrive without the two staples that really, talking about a revival. Jackson State with Prime, and now this new rendition and this crazy fan base, and then FAMU, which the game is essentially centered around. That was a great revival. Having Deion Sanders be a part of the revival, bringing it back, that was a great way to make this thing work. But now with both teams, not just Jackson, but also FAM leaving the Classic, it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to keep this thing going. And if they're able to keep this thing going, if it's even worth keeping going when the Orange team isn't no longer part of the Orange Blossom Classic. that being the Rattlers. But AD Sykes says they have an obligation to have more home games in Tallahassee, and she doesn't want to take away from the season ticket holders. She doesn't want to take away from the FAMU fans. She doesn't want to take away from the Tallahassee community, even if it means nixing the Orange Blossom Classic. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. FAMU is leaving the OBC starting in 2024. My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here. Like, share, subscribe. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace.